Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 317.
On Now You Know. We have a great show for you today. We may be reporting on the largest number of new Supercharger locations that we've ever done, so stay tuned.
And we're brought to you by our amazing Patreon patrons. Help support us bring you independent news every week by heading over to patreon.com/nowyouknow, and there you are going to find some really cool perks. Today's episode is sponsored by Ritual.
I found it hard to have a perfect diet every day.
And that's why you should take a multivitamin to fill in the gaps in your diet.
So I did a lot of research to find this company, Ritual, because I wanted to find a multivitamin that was better.
What do you mean?
Well, first of all, Ritual is committed to making their products as sustainable as possible.
Like how?
Well, first off, their bottle is made with 100% recycled materials. Even the mailers that they send it in are made from recycled newsprint and plant fibers, and they even use plant-based ink.
Okay, I mean, that's cool, but what's inside the bottle?
Ritual is a brand I can trust because of their transparency when it comes to the ingredients they use and why.
Like what?
Well, Ritual's vitamin D, for instance, they source it from sheep's wool.
Sheep's wool?
Yeah, I know, right? The sun shines down on sheep, creates lanolin, an oil that contains vitamin D. So Ritual worked with VitaShine, the company that pioneered it. So now I can take a vegan, clean source of vitamin D3 every day instead of vitamin D that comes from irradiated mushrooms like most D3 supplements.
Wow, that's amazing.
And that's one of the 10 important ingredients in my multivitamin. You can check out the story behind each ingredient on Ritual's website. There's no shady additives, fillers, or colorants.
And I like that they're delivered to your door for only $1 a day, and they're delayed release, so it's easy on your stomach.
And there's a mint tab in every bottle to keep your vitamins smelling fresh.
Fill in the gaps in your diet with Ritual. Ritual is offering 20% off your first month by going to ritual.com/NYK20 and using code NYK20 at checkout.
So Holmar's catalog asks, can you drop some hints about AI Day, please? And Elon wasn't lying when he said there'll be lots of technical detail and cool hardware demos. Note, this event is meant for recruiting AI and robotics engineers, so will be highly technical, as well as advanced chip and superconductor engineers for next-gen training and inference. Okay, so we all got to meet TeslaBot version 1 and 2 last Friday night. Jesse and I and our buddy Farzad Mesbahi live streamed the entire AI Day number 2 event along with pre- and post-show. You can watch that here.
And even if you don't want to watch the whole 5 hours, you can skip around to the parts that interest you. But let's get into what we learned so far about TeslaBot.
Elon showed off the first time that version 1 of the TeslaBot walked without a tether. He took a big risk, and I would argue it worked. What the Tesla engineers affectionately are calling Bumblebee, like Bumblebee from Transformers. It walked out on stage, it waved, danced a little. This version 1 is made from off-the-shelf parts mainly and was built in just about 6 to 8 months.
We also got to see what Bumblebee can do in some pre-shot video. Tasks like picking up and moving boxes, watering plants, delivering packages, and even making battery packs at the Tesla factory.
Then they manually pushed out the next iteration of Optimus. It did not walk on its own yet, which was made using many Tesla-made parts. And we got to see what Elon was talking about in this tweet before the event, the hands of Optimus. This is not CGI, so we got to see the actual hands here. And as Tesla owner Silicon Valley tweeted out, the real heroes behind the success of Tesla are the employees. I know you're all going to kill it today, let's go. Elon said, Tesla team is awesome, such an honor to work with them.
So let's talk about version 2 of the TeslaBot. It has a 2.3 kilowatt hour battery, which they said is enough power for a full day of tasks. It has Wi-Fi and LTE and the same self-driving computer that the cars have.
Yeah, it has 28 actuators, 11 degrees of freedom hands, and amazingly, Elon said that they're hoping to get the price down, to get this, $20,000 each eventually.
Tesla will start by testing Optimus as a factory worker in Tesla's factories, and then Elon said he hopes to make it available for purchase by the public in 3 to 5 years.
Now imagine having a humanoid autonomous robot that Elon says will be able to keep you company and be your buddy and probably be able to do many household tasks and more in, say, 2027. And you know what? After watching the AI Day number 2 presentation, I am more sure than ever that what we talked about on our TeslaBot in depth a couple weeks ago is spot on. If you haven't seen it already, you may want to check it out right here. And if you're wondering, where was that sleek white and black version that Elon teased at AI Day number 1? Well, that should be their version 3, what Tesla engineers are aspiring to get to. During our live stream, we saw a lot of chatter on the chats there about people who are like, oh, this can't do anything like, Boston Dynamics or Honda has done. I would like to beg to differ here. The team has only been working on this, like actually working on it for about 6 to 8 months. Before that, they were doing all their hiring and all that stuff. So they've come this far in 6 to 8 months compared to those other companies that have been working on it for decades.
And I mean, yes, we've seen the Spot robot out in the wild, but of course, most people, when they're thinking about humanoid robots, they're thinking about the dancing robot that we've seen from Boston Dynamics. And while it's very amazing and great tech, the thing is, if the robot doesn't make the backflip, all they have to do is say, cut, okay, let's do it again. And you don't get to see it failing.
Right. And we don't get to know the price tag. I mean, Spot is already about as expensive as what Elon wants to get the humanoid robot down to. Right. So it is a lot to do with price. If you have a robot that is amazing but costs millions of dollars, that's not as good as a robot that costs $20,000.
But I mean, regardless, what this really screams out to me is people are going to want to go work for Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, it's already the number 1 and SpaceX number 2 company in the world for engineers. And this is only going to continue as people see, as Elon said, we get done here.
Right. Well, and I just want to paint the picture for you. Let's say that you're an aspiring engineer and you want to change the world. You could go work for Boston Dynamics and work on robots. And maybe you think that that's going to be the most impactful thing you can do. But wouldn't it also be nice if you could, at the same time, at the same company, be working on transforming the world into electric driving vehicles? Mm-hmm. But also it would be nice if you could also be working on rocket technology. And Elon has said, if you work at Tesla, there's a good chance that you can also work at SpaceX if you want to.
Right.
It's like a dream job for nerdy engineers who want to really make a difference in the world. But for those non-nerdy engineer types, AI Day number 2 was, in a word, dense.
Yeah, there was so much information provided by Tesla engineers on so many subjects, from TeslaBot to FSD to the Dojo training computer, because essentially AI Day number 2 was designed to be a recruiting event.
Elon needs the brightest minds and engineers to continue to innovate at the incredible pace that Tesla is working at. And Elon basically said that working at Tesla means working for a company that gets done.
By having Tesla's engineers speak about their different areas, prospective engineers can see that this is a company they want to work for, because at the end of the day, amazing people want to create amazing things. When it comes to full self-driving, or FSD, we learned a bunch of astounding facts. I was so busy taking notes that I kept getting hand cramps.
Yeah, like so far, Tesla has had 35 FSD releases with 281 training models, and the number of times the code has been merged together, 18,659 times.
FSD Beta draws on a data set of 4.8 million. Tesla went from having 2,000 customers driving on FSD last year to 160,000 this year. Or how about the fact that every second, Tesla captures 400,000 videos?
Today, Tesla is limited to a 500,000 intersection cache when it comes to labeling, which to me is an astounding number, but Tesla engineers want to get to 1 billion intersections.
Between the FSD blocks, the neural net planning section, the occupancy network, the lane prediction, the auto labeling, the simulation, and the data engine, wow, I am more convinced than ever that Tesla is going to crack FSD soon. And Sawyer Merritt said, AI Day 2022 is a recruiting event for engineers. Elon has made that pretty clear. It'll also be very technical. If AI Day 2021 was any indication, most analysts will walk away from the event confused about what they just saw.
And Elon agreed with Sawyer Merritt, so do I.
And one of those reasons why I'm so sure that Tesla is going to crack FSD is this: Dojo, Tesla's supercomputing neural net training computer.
They've been able to replace 6 GPU computers with a single Dojo tile and then mount 6 tiles per tray, which is what you're seeing here. That is 54 petaflops, and it uses around 100 kilowatts of power.
And that tray is what Tesla claims is equal to 3 to 4 fully loaded supercomputer racks. Then they create a full host assembly, which is this, and then 2 of those go into this, a Dojo cabinet.
Tesla is working on putting these Dojo cabinets together to form a Dojo exapod.
Bill Chang, Tesla's principal system engineer for Dojo, said that during testing earlier this year, we started load testing our power and cooling infrastructure, and we were able to push it to over 2 megawatts before we tripped our substation and got a call from the city.
The exapod should go online in Q1 and will have 1.1 exaflops. That's 1 quintillion operations per second.
And by the way, they plan to have 7 of them in Palo Alto at their headquarters.
So add supercomputers to the list of things that you can work on at Tesla.
Exactly.
Because they're not buying that from NVIDIA.
Nope.
According to internal Tesla plans, Reuters is reporting that Tesla is planning to produce a record number of Model 3s and Ys in Q4.
Yeah, Tesla had been pushing for a 60% growth rate in April, and that would have been incredible. Now, according to Reuters, Tesla is shooting for 495,000 Model 3s and Ys produced in Q4.
To make these numbers, Tesla would need Giga Texas and Giga Berlin to really ramp up this next quarter.
In 2021, Tesla produced about 936,000 cars. Tesla just reported that they produced 365,000 vehicles in Q3 and delivered 343,000. So if Tesla could produce 495,000 Model 3s and Ys in Q4, that would be about 1.3 million cars produced in all of 2022, which would mean that Tesla could pull off a 40% year-over-year production increase, which would still be amazing.
I just want to go back to the Tesla Q3 delivery numbers for a second. Looking at this chart from Inside EVs, that's a record.
Yeah, it's a record-breaking quarter, but the stock fell.
Well, that could be because analysts predicted a slightly higher number.
And AI Day number 2 had many analysts saying that TeslaBot looked like a joke to them. And I just want to talk about how ambitious this is. Most car companies are lucky if they stay flat or grow like 1 or 2%. Tesla is talking about potentially growing by 40% year over year. And we haven't really begun to see what Giga Texas and Giga Berlin can do yet. This is with just limited production at those two factories.
Right. And I mean, again, for analysts to be like, well, those robots don't look that exciting to me. It's like, you're not a robot analyst. And like, yeah, you can go talk to some robot analysts, but do you know what robot analysts have been doing for the past 15 years? I mean, compared to what Tesla is doing, the speed at which they're going, I just don't think that pretty much anyone really understands the speed at which they're moving until one day you're going to be able to buy a $20,000 robot that's going to be able to paint your house, do your laundry, and cook for you.
Yeah. And I mean, if the 4 gigafactories put out hundreds of thousands of cars each year, we could be talking about Tesla producing 2 million cars per year very soon.
And by the way, why did Tesla produce 365,000 cars but only deliver 343,000 cars? I mean, that's 22,000 cars not delivered.
Well, Elon explained, smoothing out crazy end-of-quarter delivery wave to reduce expedite costs and relieve stress on Tesla team, aiming for steadier deliveries intra-quarter. So to get all those last-minute cars to customers before the end of the quarter would have required really expensive expedited shipping, so Tesla opted to do what we've been saying for years, smooth out deliveries and stop the crazy end-of-quarter pushes.
Stop it!
Holmar's catalog says that makes sense. The end-of-quarter delivery wave is bad for the team, bad for customers, and also not cost-effective. A more steady mix of deliveries throughout the quarter would be great. I'm sure Berlin and Austin will make that easier as they ramp.
And Elon said, customer experience suffers when there's an end-of-quarter rush. Steady as she goes is the right move.
We've been saying this for so long.
I can see why they haven't wanted to do this, though. Because essentially, because they've been doing the end-of-quarter pushes, Wall Street gets used to this end-of-quarter push, and so every car that gets produced basically gets delivered, which means that you get an extra 22,000 deliveries.
I know, but if you did, as we said, and just had one quarter where you didn't do this, then every other quarter you'd have nice, steady flow of deliveries.
Right. So hopefully that's what they're going to be doing, because I don't think that anyone really appreciates the end-of-quarter pushes from, like they said, the employees or the customers.
So Tesla tweeted out last Saturday, 2,000 Model Ys built at Giga Berlin this week.
That's awesome news. Congratulations to the entire team at Germany for ramping up so quickly.
Tesla's goal is to be at a run rate of 5,000 per week by the end of this year, so they have a ways to go, but still 2,000 a week is not too shabby for having just gone online in March of this year. That's an annual run rate, by the way, of 100,000 cars per year, and that's for a factory that just opened.
So as you can see from my rather crude chart, Tesla will need to accelerate their production to hit that target. But I think it's completely possible given how much experience they have at doing this now at Fremont and Shanghai.
I bet Giga Texas is a bit behind this run rate, given that they opened later.
I do wonder, though, if Giga Texas will be matching Giga Berlin's output or whether they can pull ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, comment below. I mean, I think a little competition can be a good thing. And let us know what you think. Do you think Giga Texas will have a higher production rate next year? And do you think, the two of them will be like neck and neck every week and like competing on an inter-company Slack where they're like, we are beating you, Texas. Hey, and if you like what we're doing on the show, it would really help us out if you hit the like button right now. Thank you.
So SpaceX has just released their latest ground terminal, or should I say water terminal.
Wait a minute, how does it track?
This is a phased array antenna, so there is no tracking necessary. And what that does is it gives it a lower profile, which allows it to be able to withstand much higher wind speeds. And you might be saying, well, how fast of wind are we talking about? As high as 280 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
That's 174 miles an hour, which meant that if you had it sitting on your roof during Hurricane Ian, it should have been able to withstand it.
Wow. And look, it's already being implemented, as we've shown you, on Royal Caribbean cruise ships.
Now, not only is the dish more rugged and can operate in temperatures as low as negative 30 degrees Celsius, that's minus 22 Fahrenheit, and as high as 50 degrees Celsius, that's 122 degrees Fahrenheit, it can also achieve better speeds at high temperatures and can connect to more satellites.
Wow, I'm really impressed. I mean, I feel like this is just another invisible thing that SpaceX is doing. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to hear about this someday in the future. And right now, it'll remain hidden to them because unless you're in this little bubble that we're in, they don't even know what Starlink is.
I know. And honestly, this doesn't look like much more than a rectangle. So they're going to be like, oh, rectangle. I'm just going to keep going about my day. And then one day they're going to be like, well, that rectangle was giving me internet on my cruise. I think it's just so fun and exciting that Starlink is making this global internet service.
Do you think that this non-tracking Starlink is going to be available to like you and I at some point in the future? Because like right now we have to have the tracking one, which has its limitations, right? Because, you know, if there's trees in the way. But like with this one, if you could just find an open spot and mount it, you'd be good.
My guess is that the antenna is a lot more expensive than the ones in the tracking one. Basically, you can see in the diagram that it can do, I think, 140 degrees of sky, which means that, I mean, there's pretty much always going to be a Starlink satellite somewhere within that array. But what that means is the antenna has to be so much more complicated to be able to just use math and radio waves in order to like focus signals up to satellites.
Plus, I guess on the open waters, you've got all that degree of open sky, but like on land, it is hard to find unless you're like, you know, in the middle of a big desert or something.
Right. And also, I mean, that's why they did it too, because your boat's going to be going around.
Right.
And, you know, a tracking system would have to be like gimbaled in order to be pointing in the same direction. So this is one of the reasons why you just opt for a more expensive antenna.
Well, speaking of water, this week Elon tweeted, Cybertruck will be waterproof enough to serve briefly as a boat, so it can cross rivers, lakes, and even seas that aren't too choppy. Needs to be able to get from Starbase to South Padre Island, which requires crossing the channel.
Man, I can't wait. I can't wait for our Cybertruck.
I mean, that's a pretty insane distance to travel, by the way. That's 360 meters or 1,100 feet. So that's not just like driving on a sandbar.
And yeah, I mean, I pulled up some nautical charts, and that is not shallow water. Basically, there's a canal that was dredged through there, basically to get all the way to Brownsville. So we're talking over 10 feet deep.
Oh, okay, so it's not going to be driving on the bottom. It's going to be a boat.
No, this is, I mean, unless it's like in Pirates of the Caribbean and it's a submarine driving on the bottom of the ocean, I guess it's going to have to float. And I think that this is interesting because if you remember back in 2016, Elon tweeted out that the Model S could float and function as a boat. But we never really saw anyone do this.
No, we saw them driving through deep floodwaters, but never floating through it.
Right. I mean, I think we had one that was pretty close where it looked like the back end was like floating away and you could see the wheels were spinning, but we haven't seen too many Tesla boats.
Right. So the question is, will the Cybertruck be lake worthy?
I don't know. I mean, my dream, my hope is that the delivery event for the Cybertruck is going to be at Starbase at South Padre, and he's going to come out on stage and there's going to be no Cybertruck, and we're going to be like, where is the Cybertruck? And then they're going to show across the bay Cybertruck, you know, doing the duck tour thing, driving into the water.
And Elon's going to have a captain's hat on?
I hope that he's not in it. I hope that he's on stage and he's just kind of waiting for it to kind of drive up onto the beach.
Does he summon it?
Ooh, that'd be fun.
I hope we get that at the delivery event down at Starbase. I really do. Hey, and if you want to talk about all things Cybertruck, go to our friends at the Cybertruck Owners Club. They are sponsoring today's show. Check their website out for Cybertruck news, discussions, and community for Cybertruck enthusiasts like yourself and future owners. There you'll find a crowdsourced reservation tracker that you can update and find your place in line.
So we got our Sondors Metacycle. It's here, and we've all taken it for a spin, including my grandfather.
Yeah, my dad, your grandfather, has not driven a motorcycle since before I was born, and that's when his motorcycle was stolen. But he has kept his motorcycle's license, so we thought it would be fun to invite him to ride the all-electric Metacycle.
All right, so Dad, you have not ridden a motorcycle since when? just before you were born, 1970.
Okay, and so we're now in 2022. Do you have any misgivings? It's been 52 years since you've been on a motorcycle.
Well, only the controls, because you used to have to use your right foot to shift and your left hand to pull in the clutch, and now it's the brake. So I'd want to get used to, applying the rear brake first, which will take a little thought. But other than that, it looks
doable.
It's looking for me, yeah.
Let's talk about your first motorcycle. You got it in Europe.
In Europe, and it was a used Austrian motorcycle.
What was the brand?
Puch, P-U-C-H. I'm not sure how they pronounced it, but
How many cc's, do you remember?
It was a 250 cc, and I've got it in 1966, and it was a 1961.
And then when you came over to the States, you got a new bike?
I got a Yamaha 250.
All right, so you've ridden 250s. This is probably a little bit more powerful, but in the same class, I would think.
I would have gotten more. I didn't have any money. I mean, it was really a totally money thing.
All right, well, let's see how it goes. Let's helmet up.
What do you think?
You look good, Dad. You look good. I think you're going to look even better on the bike. Well, what do you think of the first block?
Wow.
He loved it so much that he's been texting me constantly and asking to take it out for a spin again as soon as the weather is good enough.
That's great. And Ethan over at Now Let's Review channel just published his first impressions video.
Yeah, he took it out for his first hour-long ride and put it through its paces.
You can check that out over on our sister channel, Now Let's Review. And make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so you won't miss any of Ethan's upcoming more in-depth reviews of the Metacycle.
Now, I want to talk about the Metacycle for a minute. I'm not a motorcycle guy, but now that I've ridden it a couple times, I want to get my motorcycle license so that I can ride it more often. I think it is the perfect next step from e-bikes. So, I mean, we're both e-bike guys. We love them. But as soon as you start getting around 20, 25 miles an hour on an e-bike, things begin to usually feel a little sketchy, because brakes and the whole powertrain of a bike really isn't meant to go that fast.
And the other thing, too, is once you get up to that speed, you want to get on some roads,
right,
and everyone's going, driving around going like, oh, a bike, I should pass the bike. And then you're going like 20, 30 miles an hour, and they're like, I have to speed up and zoom around this guy.
Right.
And it can just get a little hectic and dangerous. The thing that we noticed with our moped and now with the Metacycle is that if you belong on the road, if you have a license plate, people aren't going to just try and drive around you. And that makes for a much safer experience while riding.
And you can keep up with the cars. You can go 30, 40 miles an hour. It feels completely safe because the Metacycle is meant to do that.
Yeah.
And now you can go get a coffee or whatever without feeling like you're risking your life. I really do feel like it's safer. And a lot of people push back. They go, well, motorcycles are so unsafe. Look at the statistics. But most of those statistics come from highways where you're going really fast and where a little accident can become a deadly accident. At lower city speeds, I'm not saying you can't get hurt, but it's a much lower probability that you're going to get killed because the speed is lower.
Yeah. So anyway, it's been a really fun experience to see a brand new market segment. I mean, yeah, there have been 250cc motorcycles around before, but I think that the Metacycle really takes it to the next level.
Well, and the biggest thing is it's completely silent.
Yes.
You can't imagine how quiet that thing is.
I know. It has a 8,000 watt hub motor.
Yeah.
With 14,000 watts of peak power.
Yeah, 20 horsepower peak.
It feels really good as a non-motorcycle rider. I'm sure if you've driven a Ninja, you're gonna be like, oh, it's not that fast. It's fast, dude. It looks so good. Anyway, it's been my new obsession, and you should definitely check out our review of the Metacycle because there's gonna be a lot more content coming. Arcimoto's interim CEO Jesse Fittipaldi announced last Thursday that Arcimoto is cutting payroll expenses 32% as part of its efforts to become profitable.
The reduction in payroll costs will be from a combination of performance job cuts and temporary furloughs.
Arcimoto had 250 employees as of the end of last year.
The Eugene, Oregon-based three-wheel electric vehicle company has been struggling lately with the demotion of their CEO, Mark Frohnmeyer, to the Chief Strategy Officer position, and their stock has taken an 81% hit since the beginning of the year.
And to put that in perspective, the S&P 500 has lost 23%. So the market has really lost faith in Arcimoto.
CEO Fittipaldi said, "Today's cost restructuring is a direct response to the macroeconomic environment conditions and supply chain issues we are facing, requiring us to be more disciplined and laser-focused on the areas of our business that are most critical to achieving profitability." And I, for one, as an Arcimoto stockholder, really do hope that they can get through this period, because I think they have some amazing stuff coming up down the road, and it is a really tough time right now to get production numbers up. All right, I like boring company stories. I think about all these places around the world that are hard to get around, usually because of traffic, and then I think about the boring company building tunnels that will save people time and frustration, and it makes me happy that Elon thought of it, and what's more, he did something about it.
He went back to first principles and he said, why do tunnels have to be so expensive?
The Boring Company submitted a proposal to build the Alamo Loop earlier this year, twin tunnels in San Antonio, Texas, between the downtown area and the airport, which is about 8 miles.
At the time, the Boring Company even said that they'd chip in between $27 million and $45 million to make the project more attractive.
Now the Boring Company has upped the ante by $15 million, and now Michael Lind Jr., chair of the Alamo Regional Mobility Authority, says that's a lot of money that's not coming from taxpayers to improve community transportation. I don't see anybody else coming and giving us $50 million that's not funded by taxpayers in some way, shape, or form.
By the way, traffic in San Antonio is ranked as the 5th worst in the state of Texas, with San Antonio drivers losing up to 70 hours in rush hour traffic every year.
So the total project cost of the tunnel is estimated at around $275 million. It would ferry up to 112,000 passengers every day in Tesla vehicles.
And the tunnel would bring in revenue of about $25 million every year to the city as passengers pay to use the tunnel instead of being stuck in traffic.
Now, I know I've said this before, but I think that once Las Vegas gets a bit bigger and starts carrying the public and not just convention goers in their loop, and cities get to see loops in action, they're going to come frothing at the mouth for loop in their cities all across America and the world. It's not like the Boring Company is going to be limited much, by the way. They can scale up their proof rock design to have multiple drilling rigs work simultaneously on projects around the world.
And here's Elon experiencing proof rock coming back to the surface.
We're here at the Boring Company. Got little X, Steve, got Saxon, and we have a foam party.
Pranay says, Elon, how's Proof Rock's competing against Gary the Snail going? Any improvements? Did you beat him yet? Traffic is the ultimate boss battle, which Boring is helping in solving.
Elon said, unfortunately, Snail is still faster, but the Boring Company might beat Snail by the end of 2024.
And then Holzmar Catalog says, this looks like Texas. What exactly is the Texas tunnel you're building? Factory to company housing or something?
Elon said, tunneled under the road from one property to another. This is to test out the new machine.
I think it's so cool that you have this giant playground that you can just test your boring machine on.
That's pretty awesome.
What are we going to do today? I don't know. I was thinking of just testing the boring machine out.
I didn't know you could just drive it out of the ground.
Yeah.
Like it's some kind of movie villain. So NIO has opened their first battery swap station in Germany. It's located in Zuss-Marschhausen at the A8 highway between Munich and Stuttgart.
This is ahead of NIO's upcoming launch of their ET7 in Germany. This is NIO's Power Swap Station 2.0, and it's their second generation of NIO's technology, which has 14 battery slots and allows for a swap every 4.5 minutes, which includes, by the way, the automated parking.
So how many batteries can the station swap per day?
NIO says up to 312 battery swaps per day. NIO plans to open more than 4,000 swap stations by the end of 2025, with 1,000 of those being outside of China.
This isn't the first swap station in Europe. There are currently 2 in Norway and more than 1,100 running in China.
What's cool about this way of charging EVs is that the manufacturer can update the battery as new battery tech comes along. In fact, NIO has already done this. They replaced their first standard range battery with a new 75 kilowatt hour pack.
And right now, there's a 100 kilowatt hour battery available at all swap stations if you're going to be going on a long road trip and want more range. And there's a 150 kilowatt hour battery coming soon.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of dissed this form of charging in the past because we're like, it's a lot of infrastructure and so forth. But NIO seems to be pushing forward with it. And I think it's kind of working for them. Jimmy Douglas, director of sales and delivery operations at Tesla, made a good point on LinkedIn. He said most people don't realize that Tesla runs its own vertically integrated nationwide online used car retailer. It's as big as some publicly traded used car retailers you've definitely heard of, despite no Super Bowl commercials or wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men. They are distributed across North America, ensuring every used Tesla meets our quality standards so we can delight every customer at the point of delivery. Since Tesla doesn't advertise, delighted used car customers are our version of Super Bowl commercials.
Yeah, so those companies that they're competing with, he's probably talking about like AutoNation with a market cap of $5.7 billion or Carvana with a market cap of $3.8 billion.
So to explain a bit here, when Tesla buyers trade in a car to Tesla during their purchase of a Tesla model, Tesla then usually has this ICE car on their hands. Tesla does what a lot of car dealers do. They sell these used cars to companies that then auction them off at the wholesale level.
Tesla reports the revenue from this division under service and other on its revenue report, so we don't know exactly how much money it makes. But that line item is up more than 50% year over year to $1.4 billion.
So even if Tesla's used car business is only like a quarter of that line item, that would be over $1 billion a year.
And I think that, again, when we're talking about Tesla, everyone goes, well, it's a car company, which means that they sell cars. They're also the dealer now.
Right.
Because normally you have like a Ford dealer and, you know, you come in and you're driving your Nissan Versa or whatever, and you trade in for some Ford car, and they take the Versa off your hands and they give you, you know, some amount off for your new car. And then they have it, and then they either sell it on their lot or they get rid of it by selling it somewhere else. Ford doesn't see any of that money because it's just the dealer.
Right.
But now Tesla has vertically integrated the entire process of selling you the used Tesla, as well as taking the old car off your hands and doing all of that.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. Car dealers, one of their only forms of revenue, right, is repairs and then used car sales.
Right.
We don't think of that much because we don't think, well, how do you make money on used car? But even if you just make a few $100 per sale, you're making a margin.
Right, because basically you drive in your car, you do not want to see that car again, and so the dealer's like, sure, I'll take it off your hands, and I'm going to take some amount of money off of your new car, but it's not the value of the car that they can get,
Right.
and so they're making a profit, and Tesla's doing the exact same thing here. So Chevy's Cadillac Lyriq has already come out of the gate with some issues. They've had to issue a recall and stop sale order to their dealers.
Oh no, what happened?
Well, there's a problem with the screen control module. Apparently, the software will occasionally perform a boot up and shutdown cycle when the car is parked and powered off. If you happen to interrupt this cycle by opening the door, something you might do if a car is parked, you open the door first, then the screen can go blank and stay blank. This violates the federal motor vehicle safety standards.
Okay, that's weird. Okay, so what's the fix?
You're going to bring it to the dealership and they'll update the control module.
What, so thousands of Lyriq owners have to bring their cars into dealers?
No, luckily GM has barely produced any.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
So only 186 sold cars were affected. But this presumably also affects all the cars on dealers' lots and those being shipped there.
So the man hours saved by companies that have over-the-air updates is just incalculable.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really sad that this is the end of 2022, and this is a brand new car, and they don't have over-the-air updates working on it to the point where they could fix a screen issue like this.
Wow.
Like, this would be something that we would hear about, and it would be like, it was already fixed. There was no like they probably would have preempted the recall. Like it would have been like, a recall has been issued on something that Tesla's already fixed.
I think this also speaks to software. You've got a team at GM that's like, so if they open the door while we're rebooting, it will fail. You know that, right?
Well, I just wrote in this little line that says that it should reboot while the car is parked and off, even though that's going to waste battery and could potentially crash the car. But GM is not the only company running into problems. VW has recently issued a service campaign to inspect and replace batteries in over 10,000 ID3s and ID4 vehicles produced and sold in Europe.
Wait, so not a recall. Weird. What's the problem?
Apparently, VW has determined that for a certain period of time, battery cells installed in ID3s and ID4s exhibit increased self-discharge due to manufacturing defect. This, according to VW, could lead to a reduction in battery capacity and range.
So it sounds like a bad batch of cells. Who's the supplier?
We don't know for sure, but we're pretty sure that it's LG Chem.
Oh, the same as the Bolt.
Yeah. Next Move in Germany has noticed significant range loss in the upper range and charge level without moving the vehicle, with some drivers suddenly losing power on the highway at low states of charge.
And I mean, it only takes one bad cell out of only 216 cells in a VW with a 58 kilowatt hour battery.
But the good news is that the affected cars should be able to phone home.
Phone home?
Yeah, basically the cars are connected through over the air, so they are constantly monitoring their own batteries, and they can, call up VW and say,
okay.
my battery is acting weird, and VW can then, send you a letter to say, why don't you bring in your car and we'll fix it.
So, I mean, good on VW for having over the air up and running, but I'm assuming they can't fix it over the air.
Yeah, unfortunately, these cars will need to be brought in for a day and get the bad, not cells, they have to do by module here. Okay. They have to get the whole module replaced. In fact, it's lucky that it was caught so early because it's covered by warranty. I mean, for example, I had a bad cell in my Nissan Leaf, and I brought it in the last month that I had my battery warranty. And thankfully they were able to fix it. It only took 3 months. And then they were able to replace the battery cell, and I was able to have a slight better range.
You did mention that you thought this could be fixed in a day. I think I'm in perfect conditions. VW could fix this in a day. But if thousands of these are going back, they may not have the parts and they may not have the labor to fix them in a day. So people might be looking at months.
Well, I mean, the car won't be in service for months. Hopefully. Knock on wood.
I mean, yours was.
Right. And I mean, I think that this is where Tesla has a really big advantage. You might be saying, well, just because their batteries are better, well, how do we know that? No, basically by having a pack full of thousands of cells as opposed to just a couple hundred, a couple cells can go here or there.
And they just fuse out.
And they just fuse out of the pack. And while it does impact range, it impacts it by 1/4000th, or in the case of like a Model S, 1/7000th of the total capacity of the pack.
Right.
And it's not 1/200th. But as most people have noticed with their Tesla cars, this is not an issue that has ever really happened. So Build Your Dreams, aka BYD, has 3 EV models coming to Europe soon.
And seeing that they produced the second most BEVs in China last year, 320,000 of them, we could be seeing quite a large number of BYDs on the road in Europe next year.
BYD released preliminary prices and stats. Let's take a look at their cheapest model, the Atto 3.
So it has front-wheel drive, 150 kilowatt motor, 60 kilowatt hour Blade LFP battery for 420 kilometers or 260 miles of WLTP range. So probably more like 220 miles of real-world range. 0 to 60 in 7.3 seconds. Not great. 29 minutes to DC fast charge from 30 to 80%.
And all for a starting price of 38,000 euros, which is not bad. I feel like the other 2 models, the Han and the Tang, both with the 72,000 euro starting prices, are going to have trouble competing with the Tesla Model 3 and Y.
I think the Atto 3 is the one that really is going to move a lot because I just don't see that you're going to plunk down 75,000 euro for a car that's not a Tesla.
Right. Tata Motors is an Indian auto manufacturer, and they just announced this.
Yeah, this is the Tiago.ev, a fully electric vehicle selling in India that will have a starting price of, get this, $10,000.
So let's take a quick look at the stats and prices.
So the base XE variant will cost about $10,000 or 8.49 lock. It'll have 12.2 kilowatt hour battery, 3.3 kilowatts of AC charging, a range, they say, of 250 kilometers or 155 miles. I don't think that can be true with that size battery. The top variant, though, will have a 24 kilowatt hour battery, cost about $13,500, have a range, they say, again, of 315 kilometers or 194 miles. Again, it can't be that high. 7.2 kilowatts of AC charging, and they say it'll have DC fast charging.
Yeah, maybe 30, 50 kilowatts?
Yeah, it can't be much higher than that.
It's basically a Leaf at that point. Like,
right.
My Leaf can charge at
50 on a good day.
40 on a good day. So, I mean, like $13,000 for a brand new Leaf, in my opinion, that's a great price. $10,000 for what my Leaf can do today? I'm pretty happy with that. They're scheduled to start deliveries in January, and Tata right now is registering interest on their website.
Not sure how many they're planning to produce yet, although they have delivered about 45,000 EVs so far. So, I mean, they are making EVs. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of interest in this in India for this price.
I think if you brought it to other countries, as long as it's allowed to be there, it would be pretty interested in driving a $10,000 EV too.
Yeah, it'll give the Zoe a run for its money.
Yeah.
Hey, and if you want to share this clip with one of your friends, but you don't want to share the entire hour-long show, go to our Now You Know Clips channel. The link is down below. And you'll be able to share a lot of this week's news clips that are cut into little bite-sized pieces for you. All right, it's time for Into the Future, sponsored by our friends at Henson Shaving.
I have been realizing how much FUD there's been about shaving.
Fear, uncertainty, and doubt about shaving?
With single blade razors. I think that there was this big push back in the day when it was like, efficiency, we go, well, instead of one blade, we do two. It's like doing two passes at the same time. It was all marketed. They were like, okay, you can shave with a multi-blade razor and it'll feel smoother because it's been yanking the hairs out of your face, cutting them, and popping them back into your face to grow into little bumps. But don't talk about the bumps. Talk about that smooth shave. The moment you've already spent the $20 to buy that razor, it's going to feel so nice. The Henson razor is completely different. It uses one blade. The blades are extraordinarily cheap. They're recyclable, and you can get 100 of them for free if you use the code NOWYOUKNOW at checkout.
So in its first week on the job, Hollywood's electric engine 82 fire truck, or should I say motor 82, had over 100 calls.
This is the first electric fire truck in the nation, and so far it appears that LA's fire department loves it.
LA Fire Chief Richard Field says this is going to allow us to find new ways to provide service.
It gets 62 miles of range from its batteries, but if needed, a 300-mile gas range extender kicks in. Although in its 95 hours of operation during the first week, the range extender only ran for 1 minute.
This fire truck, the RTX made by Rosenbauer, is narrower than a typical fire truck, and it has rear wheel steering. So it makes it super nimble for tighter cornering, and it even has crab mode. So if you want some stats, it seats up to 7 firefighters, has 360 kilowatts of peak motor, or 490 horsepower. It's all-wheel drive with 2 motors, 132 kilowatt-hour battery pack, and it's adjustable air suspension from 7 inches all the way up to 19 inches, so it can wade through 3 feet of water.
Oh my God. And it's quiet in the cabin so the crew can think and communicate. No more diesel fumes for the firefighters.
And it easily climbs up steep hills. And I want to thank Warren for sharing this story. And I'm really excited to see that we finally have an electric fire truck that's out there doing its job. And I hope that since it's in such a well-known fire district that, like, it's not like in some little town that no one's ever heard of, that other fire chiefs are going to go, oh, if it works for LA, I mean, Look how many hours that thing was on call in the first week.
Yeah.
Like 95 hours. That thing must never sit in the fire station.
I know. That's really impressive.
All right, it's time for Going Green, brought to you by EcoWare. And October is all about Optimus excitement. So let's get people excited about robots taking over their jobs and the world. Check out our new Optimus and Starman playing cards. Optimus can't beat you in poker yet, but someday soon it will. And for this month only, use the code ILOVEOptimus to get 5% off all items on EcoWare.
And don't forget that we plant multiple trees for every order.
And we help cap methane spewing abandoned oil wells with the Well Done Foundation, making your purchase carbon negative.
Start positive conversations today with carbon negative products at EcoWare.
Some good electric school bus news. A new bill, the Bidirectional Act, was introduced into the U.S. Senate last Friday by Senator Angus King from Maine.
I think it's funny that the senator from Maine is named King and the author Stephen King is from Maine. So does bidirectional stand for something like the Big Industry Development Infrastructure Reclamation Enticement Coalition Transformational Information Organization National Agency Law?
No. The point of this bill is to create a program dedicated to deploying electric school buses with bidirectional, that's why it's in the name, vehicle-to-grid flow capability, or V2G. Senator King says vehicle-to-grid school buses are another common-sense tool that can help to create a reliable grid, promote clean energy, and cut costs for local towns and school districts. That's what we've been saying for years. Okay, so people, this is good. We have legislation introduced. Now it's time for you to get to work. This is how democracy works.
Yeah, we need to get loud. Contact your senators and congresspeople and tell them what you want. The link to find their address is in the show notes below. And when we're talking about bidirectional charging, I don't know if there's ever like a natural disaster where like millions of people lost power for extended periods of time. It would sure be nice to have a big mobile battery that you could drive around and deploy, through bidirectional charging, like some kind of vehicle to grid technology that you could then like power up a school or some kind of emergency shelter where people could go and be safe. I don't know. It's just a thought, just in case there was ever natural disasters, which I don't know. Is that something that happens?
And in more good electric school bus news, the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, announced last Thursday that they'll almost double the funding for electric school buses to almost $1 billion after school districts from all 50 states applied for funding.
Replacing just one diesel school bus with an electric one can save 54,000 pounds of greenhouse gases annually.
And all that PM10 and PM2.5 that doesn't get spewed out into our kids' lungs is a good thing.
And all the fuel savings. The Modesto, California School District ordered 30 Bluebird electric school buses, and they expect to save $250,000 in fuel savings every year.
Yeah, the EPA Clean School Bus Program is a $5 billion program passed as part of the bipartisan infrastructure law that provides up to $5 billion for electric school bus funding for the next 5 years.
EPA Administrator Michael S. Regan said on the program's success thus far, America's school districts delivered this message loud and clear. We must replace older, dirty diesel school buses. Together, we can reduce climate pollution, improve air quality, and reduce the risk of health impacts like asthma for as many as 25 million children who ride the bus every day.
The EPA has received about 2,000 applications from school districts so far, requesting $4 billion in funding, 90% of which are asking for electric school buses. Applicants will be selected through a lottery-based system.
Another $1 billion round of funding for electric school buses will be available in fiscal year 2023. And if your school district hasn't applied for this, I think they should. So find out if they have and try and get it done.
And good things come in threes.
How about this story from South Burlington, Vermont, where kids this fall are now riding to and from school on 4 new electric school buses.
Sean McKenzie, transportation router for the South Burlington School District, said, "This is where transportation is going, so we might as well get good at it now." Yes!
And Sean says that the kids call it the magic school bus.
And thank you to Amer for sending us this story and the photo that he took of the electric school bus taking his kids to school.
And by the way, if you haven't seen our in-depth called The Magic School Bus, where we talked about electric school buses in real depth, you're definitely going to want to check that one out. It'll be great research for you if you're talking to your school district.
All right, it's time for Sunspots.
So Hurricane Ian hit Florida hard last week.
The Category 5 hurricane with 155-mile-an-hour winds killed more than 20 people and caused what is estimated to be $50 billion worth of damage.
Kelly Roofing, a company that installs Tesla solar roof, tweeted this out.
Tesla Solar Roof stood up to Hurricane Ian with 155-mile-an-hour winds and a 10-foot storm surge. This power wall was underwater for hours and is still working perfectly.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Slow down. So this boat that we see is almost sitting on the Tesla solar roof.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's one thing that could stop it.
It might have, a little bit further. And then the power walls were underwater and they're still working?
Yeah. Take a look at this. Here's a picture of the Powerwall battery packs. You can see that they were underwater for hours and they're still working perfectly, according to Kelly Roofing. And I think the big story here is this. Not only did it all survive, but when the hurricane is hitting and power grids are going out, your house with Powerwall and solar roof will still have power. Mm-hmm. So during those critical hours where you may need it for medical reasons or communication reasons, your house could be the place where everyone can come to in the neighborhood for heat and power.
And the next day and the next day and the next day when there's still no power,
yep,
and the sun has come out, because that's what happens after a hurricane, solar on your roof can be generating electricity, which goes into the batteries, which you can then use to refrigerate prescription medication.
And this takes the load off of emergency crews who are out there saving people, because if you have lots of houses like this in your neighborhood where people can go, that takes the strain off of the emergency responders who can focus on people who need the help.
Right. We know many people who want to go solar but are overwhelmed. We've been working with 2 great solar companies, one in Europe and one in America. If you live in Europe and you're thinking about going solar but you're overwhelmed, then it's easy. Just click on the link to our friends at Svea Solar. They're one of the largest solar companies in the world.
So if you live in Europe, which is Sweden, Germany, Spain, the Netherlands, Belgium, with more countries coming soon, reach out to Svea Solar at the link below and get this. We got them to offer something really special for Now You Know viewers. You can choose to prepay your solar energy solution and get an EV charger with a 50% discount, Or you can select the pay-as-you-go solar energy solution with no upfront fees and get the first 6 months for free.
Both offers are valid until November 1st, so don't wait. Reach out to Svea Solar today.
And if you live in North America and you'd like to become your own small energy provider, talk to the team at EnergyPal, who are the solar and battery experts that help homeowners go solar for less.
Take more control of your energy. Guaranteed price of power and storage for 20 years. Do it all online, on your schedule, on your laptop. Let them know that Zach and Jesse sent you.
All right, it's time for our video contributor stories. And we got our patron Tony, who sent us this video contributor story from the Ventura County EV show.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. This is Tony in Southern California. Today, I was at the Ventura County Harbor for the Ventura County Electric Vehicle Show that's put on by the Electric Vehicle Advocates of Ventura County, which I am a proud member of. And today I came to show off my long-range Model Y with my car camping setup. In my car camping setup, I have a 6-inch thick memory foam mattress, which is extremely comfortable. My wife and I have gone on some awesome adventures. This is my Bluetti battery, which serves as a power transfer station. It draws power from the Tesla through the 12-volt setup here and can output enough power to run this 400-watt boiler for making tea, or my 700-watt Instant Pot, great for cooking rice and beans, chicken and rice, all kinds of delicious one-pot meals. My presentation was generally well received by the public. Many people had no idea about the advantages of car camping with electric vehicles, and there were a lot of other really cool electric vehicles on display at the show. My next door neighbor had an EV6, and they were showing off the vehicle to load applications of the EV6 by drawing power from the vehicle to run their portable refrigerator. There was also a really cool electric school bus on display here. These buses are operated by the Ocean View School District, which is the largest school district by area in our county. The children who ride in it are between the ages of 4 and 13. The district has replaced 3 of their 15 diesel buses with electric buses and are in the process of getting a 4th bus with some grant funding from the state. The bus driver told me that the kids call this the Tesla bus and that they love riding in it. Now you know.
They call it the Tesla bus.
They call it the Tesla bus there.
Yeah, that's
all these cool
awesome.
names. I love it. All right, it's time for our Patreon bonus stories. And on Patreon this week, we've got 2 Investor Club bonus stories on Porsche and Livewire. We got Patreon bonus stories about a road rage incident caught on Tesla Cam.
And something that kills a shocking number of people every year. And how Tesla saved a kid's life and much more.
So head on over to patreon.com/nowyouknow and support us for just $1 a month and get all these Patreon bonus stories. All right, we're back from the Patreon bonus stories. It's time for the shout outs. These are people that support us for $5 or more a month and get their names in the end credits. Who do we got, Jess?
Jeremy Braggs,
Mark Shelley,
Raja Masan Omega,
Joe KL,
Peter DiVincenzo,
and Alex Ding.
Thank you so much for supporting us. We can't do the show without you. All right, it's time now for the Patreon poll. And this week we asked, will the Cybertruck float again?
Well, hang on. We already asked this question.
Yes, but this was before Elon tweeted out what he tweeted out this week.
Okay, so what do people think?
So here's the last poll, right? Most people weren't that convinced.
Okay.
Because it was just, it's a truck, you know. Now, here's what people think.
Oh, be interesting to see what happens. All right, it's time for Elon's tweets of the week. And again, he was super busy. So some of those tweets are going to head on over to our Patreon because we can't handle them all today. So Elon said, Falcon 9 fairing cam captures the second stage plume, the booster entry burn, and Earth in twilight. Elon tweeted out a joke, burnt hair scent for men by Singed. Coming soon from the Boring Company, the same people that sold you a flamethrower. Stand out in the crowd, get noticed as you walk through the airport. I guess this joke is a slow burn.
Holmar's catalog said San Francisco on Tesla full self-driving beta 10.69.2.2.
Elon said big improvement in high-speed cross-traffic velocity neural net coming next month. Elon said last coal shipment arrived in Hawaii at the same time as the Tesla Megapack batteries that will enable 24/7 sustainable energy. Bye-bye coal. And Hubble tweeted out an unfunded Space Act agreement to conduct a study of a commercial mission to boost Hubble's orbit and extend its operations was signed by NASA and SpaceX, a mission concept that may be applied to other spacecraft and commercial vehicles.
And Elon said, yay.
So I guess this is like private companies are going to help keep these things alive?
That's really cool.
Tesla owner Silicon Valley said regular Wall Street analysts are going to get how much of a new market this opens for Tesla. We're talking about TeslaBot. Tesla has made the best car ever, and they are now making a robot. All the work from the car is transferable to the robot.
Elon said, yep.
I don't know if he's right that regular Wall Street analysts are going to get it at all. Doge designer tweeted out this funny meme. 1999, I design financial websites. 2022, I design what the hell I want. Eva asked, hey, Elon, what's your secret? You look awesome, fit, ripped, and healthy. Lifting weights, eating healthy?
Elon said fasting and Wegovy.
What's Wegovy?
Wegovy is like a diet app / prescription medication.
Oh,
So-
like appetite suppression?
I think so. So
And then Chicago tweeted out, have you been working out too?
Elon said a little. And then he posted this meme. When you smash arm day so bad, you can't even wash your hair.
And then Dalton said, Elon, how have your workouts been going? You look great.
Elon said the embarrassing hose down photos were highly motivated, to be honest. So,
Oh, Elon.
I mean, wow, what an honest guy.
Yeah. James Stevenson said, hey, Elon, is the plan to assign dangerous, boring, and repetitive motion tasks at Tesla factories or SpaceX facilities to production release candidate bots to test and make improvements before being sold to anyone else?
And Elon said yes. And I mean, this is kind of what they said at AI Day number 2, where they're going to be using TeslaBot to do dangerous and repetitive tasks.
Holmar's catalog said, yes, there have been many impressive robots built before, but what's interesting about TeslaBot is that Tesla is productizing it.
Elon said that and giving it a brain.
And Elon gave a lot of love to his team, and he asked everyone to join. And Holmar's catalog said, Tesla's so dumb. There are already so many great, affordable humanoid robots on the market that are much better than theirs. Like what Tesla's doing is impossible, and it's already been done before.
Elon said it's funny reading simultaneous criticism that it's already been done, but that it's also impossible.
Ross Gerber tweeted out, hey, Elon, love to discuss the long-term global economic implications of Optimus and how investors should view Tesla moving forward.
Elon says, I don't care about boosting the stock, but the economic implications are obvious.
Yeah, and if you want to see our interview with Ross Gerber, it's right here. It was really fantastic. And Owen Sparks says, we're entering an age of abundance. No longer will you have to work a job you don't care about to earn a living. Do what you love to do.
But then Elon said, but between now and then, we do actually need to work hard.
Jason said, I'm researching the implications of TeslaBot, and I'm literally experiencing chills throughout my body. Humanoid robots will be and may always be the largest market in the world by far. Everything Tesla has done up to this point has prepared it for this.
Elon said, that is my assessment too. And if you haven't seen our in-depth about TeslaBot, you're going to want to check that one out because we went through a lot of different aspects that are going to make TeslaBot pretty intriguing.
All right, it's time for Community Mail Time.
Community Mail Time.
Remember, you can send your stories, your photos, your videos to us at hello@nowyouknowchannel.com. DC sent us this Lucid Air spotted on the South 405 in Los Angeles just before Sunset Boulevard exit.
Chris sent us these pictures of him charging his Tesla at a Volta charger in New Hampshire, charging at about 10 kilowatts, so not fast, but he says it was free. And they actually have ads on them now, which I'm very impressed with.
Our Patreon Gene sent us these videos of an R1T in Hawaii.
Tim from Chicago sent us this email that he received from Starlink.
Now, I won't bore you by reading the whole email, but essentially it says that it will be mid-2023 before Tim can get his Starlink converted to residential Starlink service. So in the meantime, Starlink is offering best effort service, which they say is often slower than residential speeds, but still allows for email and streaming in SD, but it won't allow for 4K streaming, online games, or video calls unless it's during non-peak times.
And there are currently 600,000 users in 40 markets around the world for Starlink. Rav sent us this tweet showing us an Electromechanica Pizza Hut delivery vehicle.
Or at least close-ups of the solo Pizza Hut delivery vehicle. I don't really know what it fully looks like. Caroline in Golden, Colorado says, what a great time to be alive. Here's a great spotting. Was out for a dinner with Dado and watched this yellow Tesla pull into the parking lot. Plates were from California. I made sure they got a thank you note as their driver's side window was rolled down all the way. I love purple, but that yellow is like a bee. And thank you for leaving thank you notes.
That's
so nice. Jason sent us these EV pics of...
Let's see if the boys line these photos up correctly.
O ye of little faith.
Audi e-tron.
Hyundai Ioniq 6.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Polestar 2.
Kia EV6, all driving around South Florida.
Hans and Naz sent us this short video of a Model Y they spotted in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Brian sent us these pictures of a solar-powered EV charger at Costco in St. Louis Park, Minnesota.
He says they're only level 2 and in fact quite slow, but priced at $1 an hour. Avihai sent us this picture of a Tesla Supercharger in Elliot, Israel. Nice. All right, it's time for our Supercharger reviews. Let's see what's out there in the world.
Hello, Zach and Jesse. This is the second time I've ever used a Supercharger, and I'm in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and I'm at the Myers Supercharger station. It has 8 Tesla chargers, and they were all open. I think they're 250 watts, and some of these right here. And I must say, I was shocked as I walked backwards at how heavy these were to lift off of the charging stand. It was like, wow. Other than that, there's not a lot around here. So I'm going to give it a 6.
Hi there. I'm coming to you today from Maple Creek, Saskatchewan. There is a 6-stall V3 supercharger station and 2 co-op CCS Chatamo combo chargers here. There's also a convenience store and a big cardlock gas station. Convenience store closes at 9 most nights, 8 on Sundays, so not the greatest. The biggest thing about this supercharger location though is that it's a good 8 kilometers off the Trans-Canada Highway, so that's going to add a good 10 minutes round trip to your trip. So not the greatest spot, but I'm glad that it exists because the nearest superchargers are in Medicine Hat, Alberta, and Swift Current, Saskatchewan, which are both a good hour and a half from here. So it'll be really good in the winter when we're losing some range, but not the most convenient spot. So now you know. I'd give it about a 5 out of 10. It's fine.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. We are at the Tesla Supercharger in Duluth, Minnesota, right on Lake Superior. This is at a location downtown. We're in a Holiday Inn parking ramp. It's a bit of a treasure map to find your way in here. And as you can see, you drive into the spots rather than back up. The trick is you bring your Tesla key to the desk, and then they will give you a certificate to get out without having to pay parking. It's right downtown, so we drove by several different restaurants in the area, so we're going to check that out. So now you know.
All right, welcome to St. Peter, Minnesota. It's in south central Minnesota, and we have got a brand new 8-stall supercharger here. Unfortunately, no pull-in spot, but otherwise this is a great location in a great part of the state and good for road tripping and good for people like Kevin here who has to use it fairly frequently from Mankato to the cities.
That's right, Brian. It's great to be here. This is a great addition to the Supercharger network. So this is really a game changer for me and my personal commute every day from Mankato to the Twin Cities. But really, anybody who's passing through this area, St. Peter's a great community. And the Supercharger is located in the Hy-Vee parking lot. The store here is open until 11 o'clock. There's a wonderful Mexican restaurant, locally owned, that I can personally attest to. Just a block away, there's a McDonald's on the other end of the spectrum, food spectrum, if you will, if you're interested in that. St. Peter is home to the Gusties of Gustavus Adolphus College, for those of you who are Gustie parents or even doing a site visit with your prospective students. Mankato's just 10 minutes down the road, home of the Minnesota State University Mavericks, great hockey program. They've got a great civic center, arts and theater and music. It's really a great part of the state and a really welcome addition to the Supercharger network.
And there's also a Best Western just down the road if you need to stop here for the evening. When it's nighttime, I was here a few days ago, and there's nothing open immediately here, but there is that Best Western and a gas station convenience store just down the road by the McDonald's. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, Brian, nice to see you. And Tesla owners, please be safe, continue to be kind to each other, and we'll see you on the road.
So definitely a much appreciated supercharger here in southern Minnesota. I'd give this a solid 8 out of 10 during the day and 7 out of 10 overnight. Thanks for watching, and now you know.
Thank you so much to everyone who does Supercharger reviews, and just a reminder, you can upload your own at our website, nowyouknowchannel.com.
All right, now it's time for the new superchargers in the world, Jesse, and let's pace ourselves because there's over 50 this week.
Oh my goodness. All right. 12 stalls in Vigo, Spain.
24 stall in Frederica, Denmark.
8 stall in Cap Rouge, Quebec.
8 stall in Inje, South Korea.
5 stall at Taiyuan, Pingzhen, Taiwan.
The 20 stall in Phoenix at East Mail Boulevard, Arizona.
12 stall in Pueblo, Colorado.
The 16 stall in Weert, Netherlands.
The 4 stall in Potsdam, New York.
The 8 stall in Revelstoke, Victoria Road, British Columbia.
The 12 stall in Charleroi, Belgium.
The 2 stall in Mallorca, Spain.
The 12 stall in Waiblingen, Germany.
The 12 stall in Dublin, Georgia.
The 12 stall in Waterville, Maine.
The 16 stall in Bilbao, Spain.
The 9 stall in Indooroopilly, Queensland.
The 4 stall in Tokyo at Shinjuku, Japan.
The 4 stall in Tokyo at Chofu, Japan.
The 9 stall in Jumcheon, South Korea.
The 8 stall in Juri, South Korea.
The 6 stall in Busan at Dongye, South Korea.
The 8 stall in Goyang at Dongye-dong, South Korea.
The 9 stall at Busan in South Korea.
The 6 stall in Busan at Centum City, South Korea.
The 6 stall in Sokcho Hanwha Resort, South Korea.
The 8 stall in Cheongju at Moto Outlet, South Korea.
The 8 stall in Hadong, South Korea.
The 3 stall in Kunming at the Windsor KTV, Guangshandian, China.
The 6 stall in Maiyang Innovation Center, China.
The 3 stall at Changzhou Wanshanzhu in China.
The 2 stall 150 kilowatt in Qingju Kuaiyou at Haiqing Barley Manor, China. But wait, there's more.
The 6 stall in Chengdu at High Speed Rail City Park, China.
The 3 stall at Shijiazhuang at Hangyu Hotel, China.
The 6 stall in Shanghai at Gohu Plaza, China.
The 6 stall at Shanghai at the Tangzhen Tesla Center, China.
The 6 stall in Shanghai at Excellence Times Square, China.
The 3 stall in Shanghai at the Penglian International Shopping Center, China.
The 8 stall in Gloucester, Massachusetts.
Gloucester! The 12 stall at Charlotte, Providence Road, North Carolina.
The 20 stall in Hanover, Germany.
The 4 stall at Cadenazzo, Switzerland.
The 8 stall in St. Johnsbury, Vermont.
The 8 stall at Rimouski, Quebec.
The 6 stall at Mount Gambier, South Australia.
The 3 stall at Kaohsiung, Fangshan, Taiwan.
The 4 stall 150 in New Taipei at Xingshuan in Taiwan.
The 12 stall 150 in Verona, New York.
The 8 stall in Spring, Texas.
The 20 stall in Agen, France.
The 28 stall in Chalon-sur-Saône, France.
The 16 stall in Annecy, France.
The 32 stall in Sarpsborg, Norway.
And the 8 stall in Parachute, Colorado.
Woo!
Holy moly.
Wow.
We earned our pay on that one.
It's those end of quarter, we updated the China list stuff.
Wow. I mean, if this is not another moat for Tesla, I don't know what is. Just an amazing network of superchargers throughout the world. And if you haven't used one before, you just don't know what we're talking about.
Exactly. And hey, thank you so much for watching to the end of the show, by the way. If you haven't seen the live stream of AI Day number 2, I highly recommend it. It is really long, and I don't recommend you start watching it at like 10 o'clock at night and finish watching it at 1 o'clock in the morning like we did. I think that you should break it up into chunks, take some time, take some notes. I mean, this is beyond college level course stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to just try and absorb it.
It's the cutting edge, too. When you hear them talking, you know, a lot of it, if you're not in that field, might go over your head, but at least you can feel like this is what the world is working on at this moment. It's so exciting. We'll put the links down below. And don't forget, Americans, to reach out to your congresspeople, because the Bidirectional Act is now a potential bill in Congress. And if they don't hear from you, I mean, honestly, if they don't hear from you, it's not going to happen, because you are the crowd that really gets it. Everyone else in the world is like, what's bidirectional mean?
And I mean, educate your congresspeople and senators about what bidirectionality can mean, because they can put that into the bill where it's like, yes, it has to be bidirectional, but also it has to have some bidirectional capability for emergency shelters.
Yeah, and share our story that we just did on the electric school buses, and share our in-depth so that they can learn why we should be changing out school buses from diesel to electric. There's so many benefits, including bidirectional vehicle to grid. So do that right now. Don't put it off.
Yeah.
I know you're going to put it off. Don't put it off. Do it right now, and you'll feel really good about yourself.
And thank you to all of our amazing patrons who were scrolling past. I probably already missed them. We'll see you next week.
Now you know.